And I think it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At The Track Live. My name is Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics? Glad you asked. Even if you didn't ask, All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about physics, about aerodynamics, about kinetic energy, about potential energy, about Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, about the scientific method, about downforce, about drag, about lift, about a whole range of topics. And after we have learned all the science, and after we have conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student selects a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything else they've learned in the course. And once they've picked their car, they examine their cars, they take pictures of their cars, they enter information into the spreadsheet, which includes the weight, the year the car was manufactured. We test the speed, and then after all that's done, they set up a 20-foot, 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag track, and we have races, and they observe how their car performed. Did their car perform up to or below their expectations? And would they select that car again if they had the opportunity to make another choice? So we learn science, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and I don't know what could be better. If you would like to get more information about our science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, you can go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can go and follow us on Instagram at aaerodynamics. And you can, all the information is in the bio. You can send me a message and I can give you more information on the program. Still, as I mentioned, in the process of tweaking the curriculum for the online version of the program, so more students in other places can participate, and that is coming soon. And if you want to keep up on all of the happenings, all of the updates, everything, the best place is Instagram. And then on Saturdays, of course, we have At The Track Live, where new cars get introduced into the fleet. So before I can bring all the cars in for the students to use, I have to make sure I know which cars I'm bringing in. So I take those same cars back and I can organize them in a way that makes it easy for the next group of students to pick their cars. So what ends up happening is, like most Hot Wheels enthusiasts and collectors, every time I go to a store, I go down that Hot Wheels aisle, I go down that toy aisle to see what new Hot Wheels might be on the shelf. And if I see something that I personally like, I pick it up. If I see something that I think the students might like, I pick it up. And these cars end up in my storage bins because I can't introduce them into the program until I've cataloged them. So At The Track Live is where I have the opportunity to finally crack open some of those cars that I have in storage that I've picked up, and we take a look at those, review those, and then after I enter the information into the spreadsheet, they're good to go for the students to use. But since the track is already set up and we're here, we might as well set up a little mini tournament, and that's what happens. So I'll introduce about 6 cars, but the reason why it's At The Track Live is because you have the opportunity to participate, and all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and you will have 3 options. One is for the Twitch stream link, the other is for the YouTube stream link. which you don't need because you're already here or you're watching later. But the third link is choose a car. And if you select that link, then it will take you to this page. And on this page, you will see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet. And I think at last check, there are 735 cars. So we have 735 cars that are all cataloged. And the reason why that's important is because as you're scrolling through, if you see a car excuse me, that you think would be faster than one of the cars that I introduce, all you have to do is click on that car. If you think it's this car, the D Muscle, you click on it, you take a look at it, you say, yeah, I think that's the car. Then you just take this number, in this case 235, and you drop that into the chat. I will go and pull that car, and then we will enter it into the tournament, and it will have a chance to race. And you might pick the car that is the fastest car of the day. If you pick the car that wins today's tournament and is the fastest car of the day, then you will have the opportunity to take on our fastest in fleet car, our champion car, the car that has been the winner week after week after week. It has beaten every car that has been in the tournament that week. And for the last 10 weeks, the fastest car in our fleet has been this one right here, the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is the fastest Hot Wheels car I've been saying on the planet because it's had challengers for the last 10 weeks, all kinds of cars, fantasy cars, real cars, best for track cars, faster than ever wheel cars, gold medal speed cars, across the board. And it has maintained its title as in its position as champion, as our fastest in fleet car. And I wasn't here last week, but the week before that, the BlitzSpeeder actually had a challenge because our races are best 2 out of 3, and the BlitzSpeeder typically beats cars in the first 2 races. We don't even have to go to the 3rd race. But early on, I think maybe the 2nd week that the BlitzSpeeder was the champion, we had the Henry Stanislavski Open Challenge, and Henry Stanislavski picked a bunch of cars, and one of the cars that he picked actually beat the BlitzSpeeder in the first race, the first of 3. So it beat it in the first race. And then the BlitzSpeeder came back and won the next 2. Well, 2 weeks ago, the BlitzSpeeder went up against the car that had won that day's tournament, and it lost the first race. It lost it by a pretty significant amount. Like, the race wasn't close. And so it was looking like we were about to have a brand new champion. And then the BlitzSpeeder came back and won the next 2 races and maintained its position as champion. So the BlitzSpeeder will be sitting around today waiting to see which car wins the tournament, which car is going to challenge it. And hey, good morning, Rough Shot. Glad you're back, and everything was well with the storm. And anybody who's down in Florida, I hope you're safe and okay. It's been some wild, devastating weather the last couple of weeks. But I'm glad you're here. Rough Shot has been picking. He's been close. He's picked a wide assortment of cars, and I'm always interested to see which cars you're going to pick to race, because every time I can see you narrowing in your focus and changing and adjusting based on what you've observed. And let's see. Here we go. Rough Shot is picking number 215, the Gruppo X24. All right. So let's go back and take a look and see what the Gruppo X24. Let's see what that car is. 215. 215. We are past it. Here we go. Okay. So a fantasy car. And what we've observed on the track is that the fantasy cars tend to do pretty well. And that is okay. Let's see, 215. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll grab that in a little bit. But yeah, the aerodynamics on this car, pretty good. And if you compare it to the BlitzSpeeder, because we've noticed that the fantasy cars, the BlitzSpeeder, the Draftnator, those were both X-ray car, and I don't know if that has, if maybe there's something to that maybe the X-ray cars are somehow different. I don't know. But the thing is that most of the time, the students tend to pick Ferraris, Lamborghinis are very popular. So I have seen cars based on real cars win races. But on AtTheTrack.live, it's been predominantly the fantasy cars that have done well. And maybe there's something to their aerodynamics, the fact that they have these wild designs that perhaps that creates a better airflow, reduces draft, and the cars are able to move down the track a little faster. But we are going to find out today if this fantasy car can beat out our champion, which is also a fantasy car. And as a matter of fact, the car, which car was it? Oh, it was the Whip Creamer 2 is the car that almost beat the BlitzSpeeder 2 weeks ago. Let's see, that car is right here, presuming I put it in. Yeah, it was this one. So this car almost took out the BlitzSpeeder, and it beat it once, which is an accomplishment just by itself, but it did not get another win, and the BlitzSpeeder beat it out. So we will see if the Gruppo X24 can knock off the BlitzSpeeder. But before it gets to the BlitzSpeeder, it's just like anything else. You don't just get to jump up and fight the champion. You have to beat out the other contenders. And I wasn't here last week because a friend of mine had tickets to go watch a college football game, and my school was playing. So free ticket, I couldn't turn that down. So I went to the game and wasn't here for AtTheTrack.live. But the Hot Wheels enthusiast in me didn't take the week off. And one of the things that is good about leaving is that if you happen to be at LAX airport and you are in Terminal 5, there is an FAO Schwartz store in Terminal 5 near the end, and they have a wall of Hot Wheels. Now, the negative side is that the cars are marked way up. They're like $5 per car, which is way too much, especially if it ends up being a mainline car that you're going to find in like Target or your grocery store that you could get for $1.25. However, they also, because it's in an airport terminal, so most of the people who are coming through aren't really going to be like the same kind of Hot Wheels enthusiasts and pickers and people who are like breaking the cases open before they even hit the pegs. You're not really getting that, so the pegs are always full. And when I was in there last Thursday, the clerk, she had just brought out a pack, and so as I'm looking through, I'm thinking I'm done looking through, and then I hear some noise, and she's dumping a whole nother group of cars out, And so I had even more to choose from. So I spent a good probably 20-30 minutes in there just looking through cars, and found quite a few that I hadn't seen in the stores yet. And that's always the kind of the gamble, is that I'm paying way more for these cars than I should, but there's a chance that I might not see these cars again. So it didn't work out a few weeks back, or about a month or two ago, when I bought that sushi tuner car. I hadn't seen that before. I bought it in the airport. It was $5, and now I see it at the grocery store for $1.25. So didn't work out. But some of these cars definitely worked out. And then, so on top of those cars that I got, I still have cars left over from the Hot Wheels swap meet that I went to a few weeks ago that I haven't cracked open. So there are so many cars ready to go. And then, of course, again, the Hot Wheels enthusiasts, I can't help picking up. I picked up this one, this 2023 Toyota GR Corolla, and I just liked it. The hatchback, it's got the Rain X, let's see, it's got the Rain X decals, it's got whatever, this 411, I'm sure that's another sponsor or some company or whatever. Anyway, this car just caught my eye. I liked it. Problem is, it's got the real riders, so it's got the rubber wheels, and they just don't work on our track. So this car is not going to get to race, but I just liked it, so I picked it up. But then in this case, I bought another trouble decker. And the reason I bought this is because it's orange and blue. And as you can see from what I'm wearing, the Hot Wheels track, the orange, the blue, picked that up. And I like this one. Also, my school colors. So I love this. But we've already got a trouble decker, so that's not going to get to race. So Roughshot there says there's a black, there's a chase version of that car, of this Corolla, of this one, because if there is, and I happen to see it, I guess that I'll be picking that one up too, because that would actually, okay, so he's saying 005, yeah. Well, if I happen to see the chase version, then I'll pick it up. Roughshot has a channel on his YouTube channel, and he does a lot of toy hunting in a lot of different stores. Have you come across the chase version on your hunts and your outings? Let's see. What else did I pick up? I was given this Glory Chaser. A friend of mine gave me this one. So not only, this is how I end up with so many cars in storage that I have to introduce, because I'm out there looking for cars, people that I know who are in stores, they'll see a car and they'll give me one. So this Glory Chaser, got this. I'll just show, because all of these cars aren't necessarily going to make it into the race today. Well, they'll be rolled out over the next couple of weeks, but I think what I'll do, so we usually have 6 cars. So we have Roughshot's pick, so now we're going to introduce 5 more, and then we're going to start off with this Glory Chaser, which was given to me. So that's 2. So that means we're down to 4 more cars. So I think what I'll do is I'll take 2 cars from the swap meet picks, and then 2 cars from the airport, from the Terminal 5 picks, and we'll see which cars can step up and give the BlitzSpeeder a run for its money. So let's see. All right, so the Glory Chaser here, orange cars. Again, I'm a fan of the orange car, orange and blue. There's another one here that I just picked up, also orange, that's probably going to be introduced. So Yeah, I'm a sucker for the orange cars. So let's get this Glory Chaser cracked open and get started and see which car is gonna compete with the BlitzSpeeder. All right, so this Glory Chaser is a small car. Let me check the weight here and see exactly how much it weighs. 28.5 grams, and I believe the BlitzSpeeder is about 32 point something. Yeah, the BlitzSpeeder is 32.3. So this Glory Chaser at 28 grams is a very small car. Very small. So I am going to switch over here to this view, turn this off, go here, take a look at this, and I will shoot this video and we will see whether or not this camera is going to overheat again, which has been a strange thing, because I just use used iPhones for my webcams, and this one that shoots the cars is a 12 Pro Max, so it's not that old. Well, no, yeah, I guess it would be, because we just hit 16. But either way, some of the other cameras are older, and see, here we go. I am going to, let's see. All right, so I think what I've kind of narrowed it down to is when I try to shoot the video, and when I have the camera, it's on, and then when I have it shooting the video, it does this. So I will shoot the videos later and just take the still pictures. And again, it's strange because, again, some of the other cameras that are out there are older, but they're on right now. The cameras for the track. So if we take a look at the track view, and then we come back, those cameras stay on, and they've been on, and they don't tend to overheat. But this one does. So I've taken off I removed all the apps and everything. I think the last thing I'm going to try is just completely wiping the camera and seeing if that helps. If that does help, then I will be good. If that doesn't help, then it's time I'm going to have to take it back to the Apple store and see if they can diagnose something. But in the meantime, let's see, while we're waiting for that to cool off, let's take a look at see what else we've got in here. All right, let's take a look at these cars real quick. I'll show you, because I'm not sure which one's going to end up, but I got this. This is another of the Terminal 5 picks, which is the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe with the Gulf livery on there. And this is another orange and blue, just darker blue. But this is a good looking car that I hadn't seen it. I might start seeing it in the stores all the time, but hadn't seen that one, so I picked that up. Let's see, what else do we have here? This Pagani Utopia, which is another one I hadn't seen. I expect this one I'll probably see. It just looks like eventually this will be in the stores, and probably I'll see it in a color that I like a lot better than this sort of off-white gray color. But that is that. All right, let's see. Turn the camera back on. All right, and let's jump back over here, and I will just get the still picture, And right there, lock that in. Get some light on that thing, and I think we're good. The Glory Chasers. So we have our first car entered in to today's competition, the Glory Chaser, and we will find out whether or not it can compete. It's a light car, so at 28 grams, what we're really going to be trying to see is whether or not it can maintain a straight line on the track. The back end of the car is fine, except you see those little exhaust pipes sticking out. So that means that's the part of the car that's going to be pressed up against the launching block, and I don't know that that's going to be good to give it a good solid push. Now, if the back of this car was, if it came up straight and then just had a flat back end, that would probably be better for this car. So with this one being light and having just a small point of contact with the launching block, it's going to be important that this car gets a perfect launch and is somehow able to maintain a straight path on the track without running into the barriers. So we'll see how that car does. So we've got the Glory Chaser, and we're going to have Roughshod. We've got his pick, and the Gruppo X24. And I'm going to go into... This is a car that was featured on the Hot Wheels, the official Hot Wheels Instagram page and account this past week a few times. And I mentioned in one of their posts that I was going to take the car to the track this Saturday, and they liked that and gave it a little like, gave that comment a like, and so I'm going to be a man of my word. And the next car up is also a Terminal 5 pick. It is the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition, and just another car that I hadn't seen before caught my eye. Maybe I'll probably see it in the stores. I don't know, but I definitely wanted to pick it up because it's just a cool looking car. We're going to take a closer look. It's got a very long name, but that's never prevented me from picking up a car before. So let's crack this open and take a look. And again, these $5 airport picks, I guess they know I'm coming through. So if they can charge $12 for a turkey sandwich, then they can charge $5 for a Hot Wheels car, I guess. Let me just check the year, 2024. Get this here, and we can take a look at this one. And this is the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition. And now immediately the one thing that I see that I'm never a big fan of are the wheels that are tucked this far under the body of the car. I prefer when the wheels are flush with the body. This I don't like, but the overall kind of look of the car I do like. And let me just get this picture, get a good 3/4 view. And then even though I'm not going to shoot the video right now, we can still take a 364 Yeah, okay, an extra 4 degrees. 360 degree view of this car. And it's got that, it's kind of interesting that they chose to go with plastic down here. I'm presuming this is the look of the actual car, but I would have liked this car a lot more if that plastic was just removed and we're just sticking with this metal body. But this is car number 737. This is the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition. And the year was 2024. Let's see what this... That back end appears to be pretty flat. I'm not a fan from the look of the tires being and the wheels being tucked under, but I do like the white walls. That's a nice look. But again, I just wish when the wheels are narrow and tucked under the body, most of the time those cars don't tend to stay as straight on the track as cars with the wheels set a little wider apart. But it's a good looking car. Let me see how much it weighs. This car is coming in. We've got a 32, which is our champion, 32.3. We've got the Glory Chaser, which is coming in at 28 grams. And this one's only 33 grams. So it is a metal body on a plastic base. And we will see how it does. Again, I'm just not... I don't know that these wheels are really going to, you know, be... I don't know. It's just never, it just hasn't worked out. Now, because something hasn't worked out in the past doesn't mean it can't in the future, but I'm not expecting much from this car. But again, the plastic base, metal body, and we'll see. We'll see with this Aston Martin what it's got. So we've got 3 cars so far. We've got three. We've got Roughshod's pick. We've got the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition, and we've got the Glory Chaser. So the Aston Martin was a pick from the Terminal 5 pack. So now, next up, I'm going to go to the swap meet bag, and I'm going to just reach in here like we did for when we had the 90s races. I just reached in the bag, and whatever I pulled out was what got introduced. So I've got one here. And now this one, this Silver Bullet, there's already at least one more of these. There's one that I had from when I was a kid that I tried to color with a black marker to turn into the kit, the Knight Rider car. And that one's metal and heavy from like the 70s. And I don't think the axles are bent, so it couldn't roll. So then I actually picked up another one of these, and it was introduced into the fleet a few months back. So I'm not going to introduce this one until I can double check to make sure there's some difference. So if there's a difference, like the other one, maybe it had faster than ever wheels, then this one would be okay because it doesn't. But if there's no difference between the cars, then I'm not going to put in a duplicate. So we'll have to wait and see on this one. And let me reach into the bag and grab something else. Okay, so this one's interesting. This is the iCandy, and it looks kind of like a I don't know, like almost like a praying mantis on wheels. Now, one of the issues is that it's an open wheel car, and we know that our track tends to destroy open wheel cars. And I just want to double check and make sure I don't already have this car in the fleet. There's the I Believe, Iced Tea. Nope, no iCandy. Okay. All right, well, there is going to be an iCandy now. And, oh, iCandy. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Yeah, this is one of the older cars. So when I go to the Hot Wheels swap meet, I tend to pick up cars from the 90s, early 2000s, because that was the time before my son was born and after the point when I'd been collecting Hot Wheels cars. So there's a gap in my collection for that sort of time period, 90s, early 2000s. So I like to pick up cars from them. And it's always interesting to see the information and advertisements on the back, because some of these cars came around when the internet was a new thing, and so companies are trying out, there's different promotions, and put in a code and win this, and go on the internet and do something. But you can win a poster. There's all kinds of things on the back of here. But not interested in any of that, because as we found out, most of those links are long since dead. But this car, the iCandy, is alive in our fleet, so let's crack it open and take a closer look. Oh, look, on the inside, there's a little sticker, peel and win. So if I'd actually bought this back in 2001 instead of right now, I would have the chance to peel this off and win. So let's just see. I'm going to peel it off, and let's see if I would have won something had this been 2001. I don't know that the glue 20 some odd years later. What? There's like a code here on the back that's hard to read. Oh. Yeah, so I guess I have to get the code by peeling the sticker on the front, go online to Planet Hot Wheels, enter the secret code, and race and win. You can win BMX bikes, electric scooters, or all-terrain skateboards. I wouldn't be surprised if PlanetHotWheels.com doesn't just take you to the Hot Wheels page today, but it's not why we're here. So let me see how much this iCandy car weighs. And this one, this is, again, just the open wheels. I'm afraid that this car is going, if it comes off the track, smashes into the barrier, it's going to be a wrap, and it's going to be done. But for right now, it weighs in at 28.6 grams, so it's right there with the Glory Chaser. And we can go ahead and take a look at this car right here. And there it is. It's another fantasy car, so it's going to have these 2 points in the back. Those are going to be the 2 points of contact on with the launching block, and it's a lighter car, so it's going to get a solid push. There's no doubt about that. And if it can stay on the track, maybe those odd angles and shapes, the aerodynamics, maybe that works out. It's got just some strange curves, some openings, and this back area is open. The canopy is closed. I don't know. I have no idea how this car will perform. I just hope that it doesn't crash, because if it crashes, get some more light on it. If it crashes, it's likely that front axle will be bent, and the car will not be able to race again. So the iCandy, and I believe the year on this was 2001. I will take the still picture and let's see here. The iCandy, and kind of need, let's see, with these cars, with the darker, some of the darker colors, especially on this one, I want the students to be able to see that back part of the car. So they can make their selection. And this car is particularly important because they need to see that there's only those two small points of contact, and that is going to be all that is touching the launching block. And once they have watched a few races and they kind of understand what they should be looking for in a car, that's the kind of thing that could make a difference in their selection process. So I want to give them all the opportunity to make the best selection possible. And now we've got, well, I guess it would help if I aligned this properly. That's a little better. Okay, so we've got the iCandy. We have the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition. We've got the Glory Chaser. And we are also about to have, let's see. So we've gotten one pick from Terminal 5, one pick from the swap meet, one pick from Roughshod, one pick from the car that my friend gave me, and now this one I just picked up the other day in the grocery store. It was orange, it was different, but it's not too different. It is this one. It is the Ravenger ST, and you can see, I mean, it looks a lot like the Muscle Speeder and some of the other Hot Wheels fantasy cars. There's one from the Fast and Furious, whatever that Fast and Furious Spy Racers show. There's a car in there that pretty much has this same profile, and you can see they took a little bit of inspiration from some Chargers and some other cars and came up with this. So it's kind of cool looking car, but one of the reasons I picked it up is because it had this Hot Wheels Track Champs designation, which they're not really clear on what that means. It might just be a slogan that they use, like best for track. But on the back, they claim that take the corner and speed through the loop in this modern day muscle car, heavily influenced by 70s design styles. It's specifically built to race on the iconic orange track and overcome any challenge. So yes, it's marketing. Yes, they have to put something on the back of the package. But if you're telling me that for some reason this car is good to go on the track, then there's no better track to test it out on than ours. And so this car, the Ravenger ST, is going to be introduced into the fleet. So let's crack it open and take a look. And there is still time. If you want to select a car, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live and select the choose a car option, and it will take you to this page. And on this page you can scroll through, and when you scroll through you can take a look at all the cars that we have in the fleet. And I mean, it actually, like this car, just based on the design, it looks a little bit like, it's got the saying that Roger Dodger look, which this Dixie Challenger that was the sort of fake General Lee that Hot Wheels came up with. is basically a Roger Dodger without the engine sticking out of the top. And that looks just like, not just like, but it's got a similar profile. But if you want to find a car to race against one of the cars that, against all of the cars that I've pulled, then all you have to do is find the car that you like, take that number, drop it into the chat, and I will pull that car. There are 735 cars for you to choose from. After today, there will be 6 more. But as you go through and look at the fantasy cars that are not, well, and again, here's another Roger Dodger with the traditional, with the engine blowing out of the top. And you'll see that these cars are very, this particular design isn't completely unique. Like if you look at this one, the Boulevard Bruiser, similar design, slight modifications, but you can always see which cars they took inspiration from. So if you want to pick the Boulevard Bruiser, all you would have to do is take the number, in this case 425, drop it into the chat, and then I would pull that car, and we would see if you have made a good selection or if you've made a selection that is going to end up being one of the cars that is going to be on the list of cars defeated by the BlitzSpeeder. So let's see. Back to the Ravenger ST. It weighs in at 34.9 grams, which is not particularly heavy, but it's also not, it's not very heavy, but it's the heaviest car that we're looking at today. So let's take a look at the Ravenger ST. Take a closer look. And again, it's a good looking car. And it's got the best for track designation. It is plastic on a metal base, so that is something to take into consideration, even though it's plastic on the metal base, but it still ends up being the heaviest car in our competition today. So Ravenger ST, and that, and I do have I think there's a Dodge Demon ST in there, I believe. But yeah, we've got the Ravenger. The back end is pretty flat. I like the wheel. I like the stance on this car, and I think of the cars in there that we have so far, the Glory Chaser, I think, has the most potential to be fast, but the problem is that it's going to rely on it getting a perfect launch every time out. And odds are that it's not going to get that perfect launch, and it's going to bounce around the track being so small. So I'm looking at this Ravenger ST. So far, that is the car that I think is going to come out on top today, but we don't know, which is why we always have to take these cars to the track. So let me get this lined up so I can get the still picture. And the Ravenger ST. Just a good looking car. And we will see if that's going, took a couple extra pictures, but that's no problem there. We will see if that is enough to take out the BlitzSpeeder. So while we look at this car, I am going to go, actually I didn't check the year on this. The year should be 2024 or 2023. It is 2023. So while look at that Ravenger ST go around, I am going to grab Roughshod's pick, which was the Gruppo X24. So just give me, should take me about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, go over there, double check the number, 215. 215. Okay, so let's see. Gruppo. So this is interesting because I have, so with all about aerodynamics, there are different versions of the program. The full program is a 3-week program, but then there are versions of it that I can do for 1-day events or small groups, and in that case I have a separate group of cars that I've pulled out that are just used for the small groups. And so those cars, some of them are in here, but I haven't numbered and labeled them, but I believe that Roughshod's pick is in here. I just need to double check and see what it looks like. Okay, it's that purple one. Where is it? I don't see it. That is strange. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Whew. I was starting to think my Hot Wheels system had broken down, but it hasn't. Not. Here it is. Let's see. First, we're going to weigh it in and see what the Gruppo, what is it called? It's the Gruppo X24. It weighs in at 31.4 grams. So it is not the lightest car, but it's definitely in that range of cars that and weights that are good. And it is lighter than the BlitzSpeeder. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this car. Lock in the focus. And what we have is, this is a solid pick, because look at that back end. That back end is straight and flat. It's got a good aerodynamic profile, low, sleek. There's nothing sticking up to really impede the airflow. And depending on how the air flows over, under, and around this car, this could be a car. Oh, and it is, I believe it is. It's also an X-Racer car. So you see this little logo here, and so it's purple, but it's somewhat see-through. I believe that's the little X-Racer. Even if it's not, this is a good solid pick. So I think, am I modifying my pick to this? I don't know. But I think that's going to be a good matchup. I have a feeling it's going to come down to this car and that Ravenger ST, because this fantasy car has everything that you'd look for in terms of a car that is going to challenge for the title for today and for the fastest in fleet crown. So let's see. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Or wait, was that? Let's see. We have that one. Then we have the iCandy group, the Aston Martin. We have the Glory Chaser. That's 3. Then we have the Ravenger ST. Okay, so that's 4, 5. Okay, so we've got one more car we can throw in the mix today before we hit the track. So let's go ahead and see which cars we're going to be in. I think I'll go with another airport pick. Another of these $5 airport picks. And let's see if I can. What did I pick up here? We are going to go with this. Let me double check to make sure I don't have one of these first, which is the best part about keeping the spreadsheet. And Toyota 2000 GT, which this is not. Wow, I'm surprised I only have one Toyota entered into the fleet. But now there are going to be 2 because I have this Toyota Supra that I picked up from the Hot Wheels, the 90s collection. And this is going to be the 6th car entered today. And let me just crack this open and we will take a look. All right, Toyota Supra. It looks like it has faster than ever wheels, but it doesn't. They aren't. They're just really nice. Let's check this. Go up here. King Phenom. The Supra is a great pick. Yeah, this is I like this car. This is really nice. I figured that I'll probably see it in the stores, but this particular version, just sometimes the mainline cars, they really come out with some good looking cars. And I don't know if it's even, let me try and turn up the lights, because it's not really coming across, I don't think, on the camera. Let me throw in the lighter background, but this is a dark green, and it's got a metal, it's got like the metal flake paint. Lock in the focus here. Yeah, this is a car that is better seen in person, because it's just, the colors aren't really, it's not really coming through as well on the camera. There's also some black decals here, just down low by the door. It's got the gold accents, and this is a good looking car. I don't know that it's going to be fast enough to beat out the that Ravenger or Roughshods pick of that Gruppo X24, but I like this one. And oh, okay, the 300ZX. See, I don't know if I have one of those. I want to say that I do, but yeah, sometimes some of the cars, again, I pick cars based on what catches my eye or things that I think would that the students would like. And in this case, this is 100% me. Like, I saw this car, and even though it was way overpriced, one of those another Terminal 5 picks, yeah, I just, picked it up. This is just a good looking car, and hopefully it performs well enough on the track that it will make it worth my spending that extra money. So this Toyota Supra, and this is the 6th car that we have today. So we're just about ready to hit the track. I just have to get the still picture, and then we will find out if any of these cars have what it takes to beat out the BlitzSpeeder, because the BlitzSpeeder has been so dominant. 10, 11 weeks as champion. It's just not even, I want to say it's not fair, but it is fair, because every car gets the same chance on the track. We switch lanes after each race, and the BlitzSpeeder has just been that dominant. So now we have all 6 cars that are going to be represented in today's race. We have Roughshod's pick of the Gruppo X24. We've got the Ravenger ST. We've got the Glory Chaser. We've got the Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition. We've got the iCandy, and we've got this Toyota Supra. So we are just about ready to hit the track, but I just always want to review what you are going to be seeing when we go to the track, in case there are any new viewers and anyone viewing after the fact on YouTube. And you can always see all of the past episodes on our YouTube channel. Just select the live tab and all of the episodes are listed, and I have added in time codes, so it's easy to find the car that you want to see, or just jump to the races, whatever you want to do. But when we go to the track, this is the view you will be seeing. It is our 3-camera racetrack view, and the cars will start on the screen on the left at the top. That is the launcher. I will give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I will fire the cars out of the launcher. They will come from top to bottom. They will pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left, and they will show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They will come from top to bottom, pass out of the middle screen, and then they will show up at the top of the screen on the far right, our finish line camera. They will come from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A flashing red light is for the losing car. So solid red light, winning car. Flashing red light is for the losing car. The races are best 2 out of 3. The cars will switch lanes after each race, and in the event that a car crashes, then we throw out the results, we restart that race, and we race the cars again. If the same car crashes twice consecutively, it is disqualified, because typically if a car crashes twice in a row, there's something about the car combined with the launcher that indicates that just relaunching the car again isn't going to help. There's some fundamental problem. So you crash twice consecutively and you're done. Hopefully the iCandy car does not crash at all, because the problem we've had with open wheel cars is our launcher, the custom launcher that I designed, shoots the cars out with so much force that open wheel cars, if they come off the track and hit the barrier, the axles bend and the cars are done. And we've had at least 3 cases of that happening. So I'm hoping that the iCandy, even if it doesn't win, I just want it to stay on the track, have no crashes. So we are ready to go. We have got the cars set up. Cars are picked. We are about to find out if any of these cars can challenge the BlitzSpeeder. So what I am going to do is I am going to gather up all of these cars, and I am going to take them over to the track, and we will see what happens, and I will see you in about 30 seconds. Okay, and here we are at the track. I am just going to, I just got to double check the audio and make sure, got the cords kind of tangled up here, but go over here and double check. 1 2 1 2. Yep, audio's working. So here we go. We are about to find out which of these cars is going to be able to take on the BlitzSpeeder and possibly become our new fastest in fleet car. So we've got the BlitzSpeeder. We'll just set that aside. We've got the Gruppo, the iCandy, the Supra, the Ravenger, the Glory Chaser, and the Aston Martin. I think right off the bat, we're going to go with Glory Chaser versus iCandy and find out whether or not this open wheel iCandy car can actually stay on the track and see how fast it is. Because especially the cars with these unusual shapes and unique aerodynamic profiles, you never know how they're going to perform. So let's see. So the Glory Chaser's in lane 1, and it is a small car. It's got that small point of contact in the back, and we're going to find out how that's going to affect it. The iCandy is in lane number 2. So we've got the Glory Chaser, our lightest car. I think it came in at about 28 grams, in lane 1. We've got the iCandy in lane 2. This is race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Woo. And the iCandy takes it. iCandy stayed on the track and led that race from the beginning. So the Glory Chaser, I didn't see, it didn't have as much wobble as I may have expected from that car based on its size. But the iCandy took it. We're going to switch lanes and see if the Glory Chaser can force a third race. Let me get these cars set up here again. Okay. The Glory Chaser, aside from being a small car, it's narrow. And typically wider cars do better on the track because there's less chance that they are going to bounce around, but we will see what happens. So, okay, we've got the cars set up. The Glory Chaser's in lane 2, iCandy's in lane 1. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, okay, the Glory Chaser still lost. Oh, see, this is why I'm glad I have the finish line indicator, because from my perspective, at my end of the track, at the start line, it looked like the Glory Chaser had come back and taken that race. But it turns out that's not the case. iCandy beat it 2 in a row, as indicated by the solid red light. So iCandy moves on. Glory Chaser did not do poorly, but it is not moving on. So iCandy will await the winner of the next matchup. So in this next one, let's go with we'll go with the Aston Martin against the Gruppo X24. This is Roughshot's pick. So we will see what is going to happen here. I think that I am definitely expecting the Gruppo X24 car. I'm definitely expecting that car to win. This Aston Martin, I don't like cars where the wheels are tucked that far underneath the body, not on our track. Personally, I like the look of the car, but I have a feeling this race is not going to be even remotely close if I can get the Aston Martin lined up. But it is a good-looking car. And if you go back to the Hot Wheels official Instagram page, they have a whole I don't know if it was in their stories or in a post about how they developed this car, and actually they have one of their designers going to Europe to the Aston Martin facility, and it's a whole thing. But we'll see. All that matters is how fast is this car going to be on the track. So here we go. Aston Martin DB4GT High Speed Edition is in lane 1, and the Gruppo X24 car is in lane 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo! That race was a lot closer than I expected it to be. But it turns out that the Aston Martin did not win, and the Gruppo X24 held on for the win. And we're going to switch lanes and see if any of that makes a difference. But that Aston Martin, okay, I'm not mad at that performance. I actually didn't. I expected it to get beaten by a lot bigger margin. So this is just like I say all the time. This is why you have to actually race the cars and take them to the track. You can have a theory about which car is faster. You can have an idea. I've watched, at this point, probably thousands of these races, but still, I have my ideas. But until you actually take the cars to the track, you never know. So we've switched lanes, got the Gruppo X24, whatever, in lane 1, and we've got the Aston Martin in lane 2. So here we go, race number 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Yeah, so that one, the Gruppo took it, but the Aston Martin had the problem that narrow cars tend to have, and cars with the wheels tucked in that tightly under the body tend to have. And what happened was it came out, it hit one edge of the track, and then it bounced back to the right. And it's Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And once those cars hit one side of the track, they start to bounce back. And if they're narrow cars, they just bounce back and forth, and there's that friction, and they never really recover. And that is exactly what happened with that Aston Martin. It was bouncing back and forth, just ping-ponging off the sides of the track, and never really got straight enough to compete. Whereas the Gruppo, that car stayed straight the entire time, and it took the race with ease. So with narrow cars, it's usually a matter of, can they stay straight? If they can stay straight, then they have a great shot. They have a real shot, but it's always just a gamble. You never know if the car is going to stay straight or if it's going to bounce around. So you take that chance when you pick a narrow car, and that is exactly what happened with the Aston Martin. First race, stayed straight, it was competitive. Second race, bounced around and lost. So that is out. We are now moving on to, we've got the Ravenger ST against the Toyota Supra. The Supra is in lane 1, the Ravenger is in lane 2, and I think the Ravenger was at least my early pick for the car that I think is going to come out of the group today. But again, we have to take them to the track, so here we go. Supra lane 1, Ravenger lane 2, race 1. Three, two, one, race. Okay, so the Ravenger took it with ease. And one thing that I look at, it doesn't tell the whole story about how fast the car is, but the Ravenger hit the barrier at the end of the track. So I built this barrier to stop the cars, and I put memory foam in there. So there's a big brick of memory foam at the end of the track. Cars that hit that memory foam all the cars, they hit it, and as long as they don't wedge underneath it, they bounce back. Cars that hit it with a lot of force, again, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Cars that hit it with a lot of force roll back further. The Ravenger rolled all the way back to the start position, and that's just over 20 feet. So it just kind of lets you know what kind of force and speed the Ravenger was hitting the memory foam with. So it's not always, it doesn't necessarily mean much, but it's something to watch, because the BlitzSpeeder is another car that bounces back pretty far. So you can kind of tell from that bounce back, what kind of car you're dealing with, how fast the car is, how much speed it has, how much kinetic energy it has by that bounce back. So that's just one thing to kind of take into consideration. So this Ravenger is a fast car, and it took that race with ease. So the cars have switched lanes, and we've now got the Ravenger in lane 1. We've got the Supra in lane 2. Race number 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Here comes the Ravenger. After winning, look at it. It's coming all the way back. That's a second time. And when you look at the Supra, which lost, it barely came back a third of the way. So this Ravenger, the BlitzSpeeder I've said this for the last, 9-10 weeks. And so I'll say it again. The BlitzSpeeder may have something to worry about, because this Ravenger is definitely a fast car, and there's no doubt about it. Let's see. Yeah, glad you like it, King Phenom. I'm enjoying it as well. There's nothing better, racing Hot Wheels cars Saturday afternoon. Here we go. So we are down to the Gruppo X24, the Ravenger, and the iCandy. And since they share a similar purple and green color scheme, we'll go with the Gruppo X24 against the iCandy and see which car is going to take on the Ravenger ST in the finals. So let's get these cars lined up. And put the iCandy car in lane number 2, and the Gruppo X24 Roughshods pick is going to be in lane number 1. Cars are lined up, ready to go. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. Okay, the iCandy took it. And so you see that the Gruppo car bounced back about 2/3 of the way up the track. Now, the iCandy car, even though it won, it is low, and it got wedged beneath the memory foam. So we can't judge anything from the bounce back, because there was no bounce back. There was a car that got wedged underneath the foam, but nevertheless it won. So the Gruppo needs to take this win, or take this next race, in order to force a third and final race. Otherwise, our final will be iCandy versus the Ravenger. So let's see if that's going to be the case. And I'm also happy, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that the iCandy has been able to stay on the track and it's not suffered a similar fate to the other open wheel cars that have raced on AtTheTrack.live. So we should be in for another good race. Gruppo car lined up. Looks good. Okay, so we've got the Gruppo X24 in lane 2. We've got the iCandy in lane 1. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. Ah. And just as I said it, see, I shouldn't have, whatever that was, knock on wood, whatever I did, the iCandy crashed and the axle is busted. I mean, it's bent. And now, I mean, it's going to race because it's already in it. But we've just had another open wheel car tragedy. And I just mentioned it. I think I'm just going to have to stop buying open wheel cars. I think that's just what it's going to come down to, unfortunately, because one crash and they're done. It's a wrap. And, you know, I could say it's my own fault because the whole point of building my own launcher was because I wanted the cars to come out with more force. Because when the cars come out with more force, there's going to be more speed. And when there's more speed, then the air has more of an impact. Draft is more important. And you can see different principles. Just like with the Aston Martin, we could see it bouncing back and forth. Then the students can observe that Isaac Newton's third law of motion at work. But the downside is these open wheel cars, when they crash, it's a wrap. And so we're going to have the iCandy in lane 1. We've got the Gruppo X24 in lane 2. The iCandy is up 1 race to none, but will the bent axle now make it slower and cause it to lose? We'll find out. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. Wow. Bent axle and all, the iCandy still takes the race, and I am surprised that that's the case, but it is. So the finals will be the Ravenger ST against the iCandy. The iCandy is coming in injured, but still ready for the fight. So we are going to line these cars up and see what will happen. Although my money's still on the Ravenger, just because that was the car I picked from the beginning, and there was nothing that I saw in that first race that made me think that's not the fastest car out here today. But this iCandy is putting up a very good fight. So the iCandy is in lane 2, Ravenger ST is in lane 1. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Ravenger takes it with ease and is coming didn't come all the way back to the start line, but it came pretty close. The iCandy, in traditional iCandy fashion, is wedged under the memory foam at the finish line. Let me get that out. Get this straightened out. Okay. And we will switch lanes and see. I think even without the bent axle, I think that iCandy may have had a hard time. But the race wasn't a blowout. It just wasn't necessarily ever in doubt. So we're going to switch lanes. This Ravenger in lane 2. And we will put the iCandy in lane number 1. And we will find out very soon if we will be having a third and final race, or if we're going to have a Ravenger BlitzSpeeder fastest in fleet showdown. So here we go. The iCandy is in lane 1. The Ravenger ST is in lane 2. Race number 2. This is the finals. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The iCandy pulls it out. Once again, bent axle or not, it's still in the fight. And this is very interesting because this is the only car to have hit the barrier, the only open wheel car to hit the barrier, have the axle bent, and still perform. Not even still perform, but win. So now we're going to a third and final race. Can the iCandy, with the bent axle, can it defeat the Ravenger ST, which looked pretty unstoppable until it was stopped just now? So, get these cars lined up. This is the third and final race. The car that takes this race is going to challenge the BlitzSpeeder for the fastest in fleet title. We have the Ravenger ST in lane 1. It has 1 win. We have the iCandy in lane 2. It has 1 win. This is for the title. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Ravenger takes it, but not by much. But you don't have to win by much. You just have to win. So the Ravenger ST takes the title. It will challenge the BlitzSpeeder. But the iCandy definitely deserves honorable mention because that was an impressive performance to push that car, which we know is fast. Like, absolutely know that the Ravenger ST is a fast car. And the iCandy pushed it to the limit, even with a broken axle. So, or bent axle. So, based on that performance, the iCandy is going to stay in the fleet. Usually if the axle gets bent, I take it out. But based on that performance, the iCandy could beat most of the cars that we have. So we are going to find out now if we are going to have a new fastest in fleet car or if the BlitzSpeeder is going to remain champion for a 12th week, for a 3rd month. We will find out. If I can get it lined up properly. All right, let's go. All right, so the BlitzSpeeder is in lane 1. The Ravenger ST, the Challenger, is in lane 2. This is for the fastest in fleet title. We are going to find out if the BlitzSpeeder is going to just maintain its dominance or if the Ravenger is going to be the car to step up and finally knock off the BlitzSpeeder. So here we go. Race number 1. BlitzSpeeder lane 1. Ravenger lane 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. That was strange. So the BlitzSpeeder crashed, flipped up, went into the Ravenger's lane, and ended up kind of rolling down the track backwards. The Ravenger hit the memory foam, bounced all the way back, and then crashed into the BlitzSpeeder. So we will set those two up again and throw out those results and see what we can do. Yeah, the aerodynamics on the iCandy, yeah, definitely helped. And that's one of the things with, I think, one of the reasons the fantasy cars tend to do so well is that they do have unique aerodynamic profiles. And there are curves and lines that you can't really account for. You don't know how they're going to perform or how the air is going to flow over, under, and around these cars until you get them on the track. So Yeah, that iCandy was impressive. All right, got the cars set up again. We have, let me double check. Yeah. So we've got the BlitzSpeeder in lane 1 and the Ravenger ST in lane 2. And the results of that first race get thrown out. And just as a side note, typically if a car crashes twice consecutively, it is eliminated. But the BlitzSpeeder gets the champion's advantage and is not going to lose its title on a technicality. It has to be beaten on the track. So even if for some reason the BlitzSpeeder happens to crash in this next race, it won't be disqualified. The BlitzSpeeder is going to have to be beaten on the track. So here we go. BlitzSpeeder lane 1, Ravenger ST lane 2, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. BlitzSpeeder takes it. Both of these cars come almost all the way back to the start line, which makes my job a little bit easier. So the BlitzSpeeder stayed on the track and took that race. It wasn't really all that close. The results were never really in question. It led from beginning to end. And we're going to see if the Ravenger can make up that one race deficit that it's built for itself. It is now lined up in lane number 1. The BlitzSpeeder is lined up in lane number 2. And we are ready to go. The Ravenger is going to need to take this race. It's going to have to do something no car has ever done. No car has ever taken 2 races from the BlitzSpeeder. And the only time the BlitzSpeeder has ever lost any race has always been, it's happened twice, and it's always been in the first race. Not the second, not the third. So here we go. Ravenger ST in lane 1. BlitzSpeeder in lane 2. Fastest in fleet title on the line. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. For as fast as the Ravenger seemed, for as dominant as it seemed, for as close as its races were with the iCandy, the BlitzSpeeder just didn't care. It simply didn't care and took that race with ease by multiple car lengths. The BlitzSpeeder remains the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet, period. And let me gather these cars up, head back into the garage, and take a look at the winners, the losers, and what's coming up next. So I'll be back in the garage in about 30 seconds. So the BlitzSpeeder remains the fastest Hot Wheels car on the planet. I mean, the Ravenger was absolutely a fast car. There's no question that the Ravenger was a fast car. But the BlitzSpeeder, I mean, it's not that it made it look slow. It was just dominant. And I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm surprised, because the BlitzSpeeder has been extremely dominant for the past few months. And yeah, like Roughshod said, the BlitzSpeeder era continues. This might be some Tribal Chief Roman Reigns type reign that we're looking at the BlitzSpeeder being around and champion for a while. And as I mentioned, I've seen other channels where they have cars that end up being very dominant, and they essentially retire those cars as sort of the great champions, and they retire the cars. I'm not retiring the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is going to remain the champion until it's beaten. And if that never happens, then it never happens. I figure that it will happen at some point, but I just don't know what car is going to come along to beat it. I'm going to guess that the car that beats it is going to be a fantasy car. I am going to go ahead and guess it will be a best for track type of car. Possibly faster than ever wheels, but I don't know if they're making current faster than ever wheels. I think it's been years since I've found a faster than ever wheel car. So, and maybe, because toy companies are always trying to get parents to buy the next thing and people to buy the next thing. So perhaps instead of calling them faster than ever wheels, maybe when they say best for track or something else, it means they've got the nickel-plated axles and the wheels spin faster. I don't know, because I haven't seen any explanation for what best for track means with Hot Wheels cars. But the bottom line is, the BlitzSpeeder is just the speed is out of control because these cars are fast. So the BlitzSpeeder is the champion, but I think the story for today is not really about the BlitzSpeeder. It is about this one. It is about the iCandy, which got its axle bent. So let me switch the view here and back it up just a bit, and you can see what happened to the iCandy. So right here you can see how now this wheel is at a weird angle, and when it came out of that launch, this wheel struck the barrier, and then the car flipped into the air. But that's what happened. Now, when it happened to the other cars, those cars wouldn't make it down the track, or they were noticeably slower when they continued. The iCandy still was winning races and was making the races close. So usually, as soon as the axle gets bent, I would take the car out. But in this case, it showed that it can still perform, even injured. So for the time being, I'm going to keep the iCandy in. And it's also bad when it's one thing if the axle gets bent on a car that I just bought in the grocery store, because I can always go back and get another one. But when I'm finding older cars, I think the iCandy was from 2001. You end up paying a lot more to replace a car like this, and I might find another one at the swap meet, but if I do, I'll pick it up. But for right now, this car still performed on the track, even with this wheel and the axle bent. So you never know. You just never know. But at the end of the day, as King said, the aerodynamics on this car are just pretty crazy, and it's hard to predict how these cars are going to perform until you get them on the track. Although I have mentioned that I am waiting. There was a Kickstarter project that I supported that is a wind tunnel for die-cast cars and model cars. They had different sizes, but I got the one for die-cast car. So hopefully pretty soon, because they got the project fully funded, I'll receive in the mail this wind tunnel. And so I'll be able to set up a camera, and we'll be able to look and see exactly the aerodynamic profiles, presuming the whole thing works like they've shown in the videos and like it's supposed to work. We'll be able to put the car in the wind tunnel, run the smoke over the car and see exactly how the air flows over, under, and around these cars, especially like a car like this, like the fantasy cars. I'm definitely curious to see how that actually works out. Yeah, the wind tunnel soon. It's the project is called Winsible, and Wind SIBLE or Wind Isable, Winsible, something like that. If you just Google Hot Wheels like diecast wind tunnel or something, you'll see the YouTube videos and probably be taken to the page. I don't know what it's actually selling for now because I backed it early. Just, it's a Kickstarter thing, so you just hope that they get enough money to actually make the thing, and then once they get the money, you hope that they actually make the thing. And then you have to hope that the thing is the thing that you spent money to support. So, I don't know. If it shows up, it shows up. But it'll be interesting because cars like this are just so unique that you never know how they'll perform. Which is why I love racing Hot Wheels cars, taking them to the track, and just finding out which car is going to come out on top. So, we've had... some good races, had some nice cars today, and I've still got from the $5 from the Terminal 5 situation, I've still got 5 cars from Terminal 5, and swap meet picks, I have at least 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I have about 8 or so cars from there. So for at least the next 2 weeks, we will be having Terminal 5 and swap meet matches. So, and the swap meet cars tend to be from the 90s, early 2000s, and the Terminal 5 cars are from like right now, like the latest, hottest cars, right off the shelf. This new for 2024 labels right on there. They didn't have it on this one, but this one's new for 2024. This one I picked up just, I don't know, I like these kind of van car, and there's a Terminal 5 pick that I want to see matched up against this. So we're going to have this kind of van race off. So lots of things coming up. If you want to kind of get a preview of some of the cars, again, just follow AA Aerodynamics on Instagram, and I'm trying to do a little more. I was going to do a preview show this morning, but then as I was setting up, my camera fell off the stand, and I had to do a whole bunch of reworking of things to get everything lined up and ready for this show. At the Track Live, we're here every Saturday, of course, unless I'm out of town watching college football, which is going to happen in mid-November because Syracuse is playing Cal. But until then, I'm going to be here every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're going to be racing Hot Wheels cars. And again, if you want to participate and you want to pick and do what Roughshod did and has done, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select choose a car. You will be taken to this page. You can scroll through. There are 735 cars currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet. And once you find the one that you think can beat one of the cars that I'm going to introduce, all you have to do is find the car, select the car, and then take that number and drop it into the chat. Once you do that, then all you have to do is wait for me to pull the car, just like I did with Roughshod's Gruppo X24. We'll take it to the track, race it, and you might be the person to find the car to beat the BlitzSpeeder, because I picked the Ravenger, and I thought, hey, this is going to be the car. Was not the car. It is just, there's got to be a car in here faster than the BlitzSpeeder. Maybe it's this twin mill Gen E. I don't know. If you think that's the car, all you have to do is take that number 431, drop it in the chat, and then I will pull the car. There's a problem, like I've gone over in the past, Squarespace and their horrible search function on the website doesn't work. So if there's a car that you know, if you're a Hot Wheels collector and you know, hey, such and such car is really fast, and you don't want to like look through all 730 cars searching for that car, you can just send me a message, ask, hey, Coach James, do you have this car? And then I can check the spreadsheet, let you know, and we will be good to go and set up that race. And even if I don't have the car, if it's not going to cost me way too much, I will go on eBay or wherever, Amazon, and buy the car so that we can have the race. I'm always looking for a new car, a faster car, and like all Hot Wheels collectors, it's $1.25 in most cases. We're not going to stop collecting. We're going to pick them up and, in this case, crack them open, take them to the track. So, and that's another thing. Maybe you're a Hot Wheels collector who keeps all of your cars mint on card and you don't crack them open. Well, I don't have that issue. So if you have a car that you haven't taken to your track because you want to keep it in the package, let me know. Maybe I have it. Maybe I'll find it. I'll crack it open, take it to the track, and we'll see what happens. So, if you want to see old episodes, see how the BlitzSpeeder came to be this 12-time champion, those episodes are there on YouTube. You can check that out. But we'll be back here next Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific for At The Track Live and all about aerodynamics. I am Coach James, and until next time, I'll see you at the races.